Pretty good. I added a new tattoo to the collection this weekend, so I'm pretty excited about that. To no one's surprise.
Nice.
Nothing too fancy, just some black flames as filler on the back of my arm, which looks great. Healing wise, oh boy, I always underestimate how the underarm feels.
Wow. I can't
It's
envy you.
hot.
I can't envy you because it feels like when that thing starts to itch,
Yeah.
it's gonna be in a weird spot. So I don't envy you at all.
Yeah, I'm just happy that it's finally started to not be 105 degrees because the first 2 or 3 days after a tattoo, your skin is on fire, and
Yeah.
it really is because I have like a temperature like gun that you could use like if you're sick, or it measures like liquids and stuff too, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just tempted to see how this feels right now. And I like put it up to one part of it, and it made like a very distinct noise that I'm not used to hearing off the thermometer. And it's like, it's 105.5 degrees on your arm right now.
Wow.
And I'm like, you know what? That is accurate. That is very accurate. Cause, I don't know. I mean, it's solid black. So you've got to put the black in there to make it believable. And then it's kind of, again, like kind of up under the arm, kind of like not so much to the elbow, or it kind of is, but it wasn't like up on the actual elbow, so it kind of like stops right like a couple inches before it, but
Mhm.
it just kind of covers the whole back of my arm because I'm like, there's nothing else that I really would want to put back there because you would never see it, but also that's just a very odd place to have something back there. So I'm like, yeah, just fill it up with flames. Why the hell not? So add it to the collection. We're on 19 now and
Nice,
not stopping.
nice.
So
Nice.
yeah,
So
I can't complain.
that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're checking out the podcast for the very first time, thank you very, very much. This is a professional wrestling podcast where Shay and I talk about what's happening in the world of WWE, AEW, and anything of the like, anything involving wrestling. We're talking about it. So thank you for checking out the episode. And tonight we have a pretty big episode to go over. We're going to be talking about the Elimination Chamber PLE, which just happened this past couple days ago, and also answering some of your questions that some of our loyal listeners have sent in. So I'm very excited to get started. What about you, Shay?
Yeah, and guess what? I actually got to watch it. They remembered that Xfinity exists, so I have it on my PlayStation now. So I'm
Nice,
actually able
nice,
to provide commentary that actually makes sense. So
nice.
excited.
Nice. Yes. So the Elimination Chamber PLE was this past Saturday, and it was a pretty interesting PLE from Chicago. It was the first time they were in Chicago, the United Center, rather, since like
Yeah.
1993 or 1994, something crazy like that. It's been a
Yeah.
while since they held an event at the United Center. So it was a pretty big event in Chicago. Only 4 matches on the card, but 4 big matches and 4 very, very good matches. I was very pleasantly surprised overall at how good the pay-per-view was.
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't too bad. I mean, was it the greatest one of the year so far? No. Was it one of the best ones in recent memory? No, but it also wasn't terrible either. It
Right.
was good. It was solid. It wasn't, we always say, horrendously, horrifically, offensively bad. It was good. It had some good moments, and then some that made me question some things. But you know what? That's just typical wrestling in general. But yeah, overall, I can't really complain.
Well, I'm glad that we get to talk about it tonight. Why don't we get right into it? The show starts with the women's elimination chamber, which I thought was very enjoyable. It was a physical match from the women. I was pleasantly surprised with the work that Kiana James did in the chamber.
Yeah.
She was definitely a standout performer. Raquel Rodriguez continues to get better, eliminating Asuka and Kiana James at the same time. The finish came when Stratton and Ripley were the last 2 women standing. Stratton attempts the prettiest moonsault ever, but Ripley pushes her off the top rope into a pod. Ripley follows it up with a riptide and gets the win, locking her ticket to WrestleMania against Jade Cargill. I thought this match was good enough for 3 3/4 flames out of 5. What about you?
Shockingly, we're off to a great start with 3 3/4 flames. I will say though, before we get into the match and like the rest of the matches, we have to at least let the audience know This was probably, and this is sad considering there was only 4 matches on this card. This was probably the worst we've done predictions wise.
Yeah, we were pretty bad.
It was bad, guys. We were 1 for 4, and I knew we were in trouble when the first person eliminated was Alexa Bliss, who was our pick. And I can imagine we both at the same time just went, "You've got to be fucking kidding me!" Like, we're like, "God damn it!" And we're like, "All right, well, Rhea's definitely winning now." Because at that, I even texted you. I'm like, "Rhea's definitely winning this one now.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way like anybody else is." And obviously, it makes sense because you have to have her on WrestleMania in a high-profile match. You can't like waste her by having her in some like, I don't know, like mid-card pointless feud with no title. You have to put her in something that's going to sell tickets. And from what we've seen over the last day or so, it'll definitely get some people talking, and we'll talk about that later. But no, the match itself was great. Everyone got their time to shine. Kiana James, for the limited amount of opportunities she's getting, she's definitely making the most of them, though.
Right.
So good for her, because she's going to now get more in the future, because she did not look out of place amongst them at all. Asuka looked great. Alexa looked great. Raquel Rodriguez, as much as I'm just not a fan, she definitely looked fantastic in this match. She looked like she was running everybody over, and hell, even the crowd booed when she got eliminated, so that tells you people are coming around onto her.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, and Tiffany Stratton just got the shit kicked out of her by everybody at that point. She was getting just beat up in that match, so, you know, props to her for taking all of that punishment, because, no thank you, I'd rather not. But yeah, I feel like once Rhea and Io lost the tag titles, and then immediately as soon as Alexa Bliss got eliminated, I'm like, all right, it's got to be Rhea's. And granted, we were kind of like skeptical, because we're just like, do they really want to go cross branding? But I guess now Rhea's, did they say she got like traded over to Raw or SmackDown, or is she just like going over there for now?
She's just going over there for now because she's going to be taking on the champion. So that's going to be her permanent home over there on SmackDown now.
Yeah, which I'm like, that sucks for poor Rio, or as a team, because they were doing so well too. So it kind of sucks that they had to break them up that quickly. But I'm sure they'll get back to each other at some point. But yeah, Rhea just, if it wasn't going to be Alexa at that rate, I guess Rhea just made the most sense. Because again, you have to have somebody like her in high profile matches, or else what are you doing? Like, she's probably one of, if not your biggest star you have. So you have to have her like in a title match, and people can complain and bitch and moan all they want. I'm sure they already have, and I don't really care too much, but yeah. And they've got the fireworks going already, her and Jade, because boy, if you were on Twitter the last day or so, it's been something else.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I think we have a question or a comment or regarding what's been going on Twitter, so we'll definitely save that for later. But we both gave the match 3 3/4 flames out of 5, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, as usual, right with each other.
Yeah, definitely. So good work from the women. Really enjoyable Elimination Chamber matchup, and congratulations to Rhea Ripley, who's going on to WrestleMania to face Jade Cargill for the Women's World Championship. So that's going to be pretty cool. Next up on the docket, on the match card, we had Becky Lynch defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against AJ Lee. This was AJ Lee's first singles match in over a decade. And this, for me, was a fun, damn good match. I thought AJ Lee showed absolutely no ring rust. She was sharp as a tack. The setup and the ref bump was beautifully done. I hope Lynch's beef with referee Jessica Carr keeps going after Carr stopped Lynch from using the exposed turnbuckle. Shortly after, Becky ends up colliding with said turnbuckle and then getting trapped in the Black Widow, where Becky Lynch taps out. Great stuff all around. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. What about you?
I gave it 3 3/4 actually. So we're still close. We're still on par with each other.
Sure.
Yeah, the match was good. I mean, we expected it to be. We weren't surprised by that by any means. I feel like I would have given it a 4, but I feel like everything towards the end of the match kind of like was all over the place. It was just so many false finishes and nonsense and this and that, and I feel like it didn't need maybe half of it. I still feel like it was just a little overkill at that point, but Now we just need to see Becky and Jessica Carr in a match at WrestleMania. I feel like that's what the big ticket is here, clearly. But no, we were once again horribly wrong. We both thought that Becky was going to get the Chicago heat and cheat to win, and that did not happen. But good for AJ. I mean, it's the joke that Wade Barrett had that he had a singles match more recently than AJ is saying something. That is something you never thought you'd hear, but. Good for her. I definitely am not complaining about her winning, though. I feel like just as long as they make her a fighting champion, that's all I want to see, because clearly, like you said, she hasn't missed a beat at all. Like, you would have never have thought that it's been over a decade since she's been in a singles match or even just like a high profile match like that, period. So good for her. Good for Becky to continue being great. I mean, again, it's so crazy to me how the amount of like fantastic runs Becky has had in her career is just wild. Like, you had the man, you had big time Bex, now you have this, and it's just like she just keeps hitting. I don't know how she does it, but good for Becky. Great match, but yeah, it only lost a quarter of a flame for me just because of all the hoopla towards the end, but still a very solid match.
And I thought the best part, is AJ Lee looked great. She looked, and she's showing, like, because the thing about AJ Lee, like, her first run before she left was before all these women started coming up, like Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Asuka. All these women were not around when AJ Lee was in her heyday as Divas champion, and she left just as these women were coming up. So now we're gonna get the opportunity to see AJ Lee do her thing against these women, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't either. This is gonna be a fun run.
For real, it really is. And it's starting off great with AJ Lee becoming the new women's intercontinental champion, getting Becky Lynch to tap out to the Black Widow submission. So we're definitely on the road to WrestleMania. Interested to see what AJ Lee is going to do with the women's intercontinental championship for WrestleMania. A lot of people are going after her for that, including people like Lyra Valkyria, Bayley, and Io Sky, all vying for their spot. I believe there's a gauntlet match that's going to be happening on Raw. I forgot the participants. I only know a couple, but I know there's going to be a gauntlet match on Raw to determine who is going to be the number one contender for the title. So look out for that on Monday Night Raw coming up.
Yeah, should be interesting.
For sure. And now we move on. We have a little bit of a throwback Chicago Bulls style introduction for CM Punk, which I thought was amazingly done. It gave me one of those old school vibes back in the 90s when the Bulls were getting introduced and they were on national TV and we all got to see the rise of the Chicago Bulls. I thought they did that with CM Punk and it was really, really cool to see.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm not much of a basketball fan, but even I knew what that meant. That was like super cool, such a Chicago type of entrance, and everybody got it, obviously, there, because if you didn't know, that I feel like you would have been excommunicated and your citizenship would have been, taken away from you. But no, that was a super cool entrance. I'm kind of surprised. I thought they were going to go another way. I thought they were going to use his old Indies theme, because that would have been kind of wild, but perhaps AEW still owns the rights to that one, unfortunately. But match itself, very good. Very, very good. We always say when it comes to these matches that it's a very obvious ending, because you're not gonna, as much as they like to play up, oh, Finn could have messed up the main event of WrestleMania and oh my god, what would happen? It's like, it was never gonna happen, but it also didn't take away from the fact that that was a very good match and they made Finn look very good. And I love that they do that, because they could very easily just make it a very one-sided kind of affair, but I'm glad that, they actually have to make it look at least a little convincing that CM Punk might lose that title, and he almost did a couple times. Like, that reversal into that sharpshooter from the coup de grace, oh my god, that was very good, but I'm also just like, oh, that could have went horribly wrong. That was a little scary, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
But still give him that, but I'm glad that they're letting Finn get back to what he was back in like the black and gold NXT days. This is the Finn Balor that everyone like fell in love with, and he's getting closer to, becoming a good guy now, because obviously he was nice to Punk afterwards, and I don't know. I mean, it's almost a matter of when, not if, Judgment Day implodes, and is he going to be the reason it implodes? Perhaps, most likely, but we're getting there, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some quality television soon, and I can't wait. But no, the match itself was great. I gave it 3.5 flames.
Nice. I thought for me this was equally as good as the match before. There was lots of nice grappling and wrestling from both men, with Balor focusing on Punk's ribs. Punk was able to fight off the offense and hit Balor with the second GTS to get the win. Balor and Punk would go on to shake hands in the middle of the ring. AJ Lee would then join her husband and the champs celebrate in the ring. I gave it another 4 out of 5 flames.
All right, I'll take it.
All right, so now moving on, we get the big reveal of what was in the crate. And what was what was in the crate, we were on point, we had it correct, but it was pretty easy to guess. I mean, if we were able to guess it, I think the rest of the wrestling world, these smart marks out there, were able to guess it correctly, and it happened to be none other than Danhausen, who makes his WWE debut. I'm really excited for Danhausen. I think people are really gonna like what Danhausen does, and they're gonna be really entertained by him. Those who don't know who Danhausen is, just give him a chance, and I think you'll love him. I think that you'll definitely come around to him and enjoy what he's going to bring to the table. He is definitely entertaining. What did you think about Danhausen's debut?
Oh, I was excited for it. Obviously, Mom and I love Danhausen, so we were very happy to see him. I feel like it could have been better because, unfortunately, some of the Chicago crowd was not entirely thrilled that he was there. I wonder if those were the people that wanted Jericho, which, whatever, and it's, who gives a fuck about that? But we'll go a little more in-depth into it later because I think we have a question about it. But I feel like maybe if they would have let him speak a little bit, maybe the people that didn't really know what he was about would have had a little bit of a clue, as opposed to just, okay, there's this guy with dancers and he carries around a jar of teeth, and that's it. Just because everybody knew him in AEW doesn't mean it's going to translate over to WWE. However, I agree with you. Just give him some time, because I feel like at this rate, when it comes to Danhausen, you either love him or you hate him. I don't think there's really any in between, from what I can see on Twitter and, the internet wrestling fandom, whatever. But I've always loved him. I think he's very entertaining. I hope he has a little bit more time in the ring, because, the last time he wrestled was, I had to look this up. The last time he was on TV was December 30th of 2023.
Wow.
So it's been a while. So I hope they actually remember that he can wrestle. I mean, of course, he's not some, oh my God, the great, God's gift to wrestling. I mean, he's still solid in the ring, though.
Right.
And he's just entertaining. It's he's just funny, and you just got to give him a chance. And I think people, they kind of got a little bit of a taste of it on Raw. And it's yeah, that's why everyone likes Danhausen, because he's silly, and it's just stupid, but it's just funny. And we need to see more of it. So trust us, guys. You just got to give him a chance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the people, because you got to understand, the people that probably can afford the WWE tickets at this point are probably a casual audience that probably only consumes WWE content and don't know anything outside of the WWE bubble, which is okay, I guess. And, that tends to happen. So, they don't know anything about this Danhausen character, but that's kind of the cool part, is that, people who do know can go, oh, this is going to be great, and they can talk to the people that don't know and say, hey, maybe give this a shot. And like we're telling you guys now, maybe give this a shot and you might enjoy it. I think Danhausen is very entertaining. I think he's a great wrestler. I think his comedic skills are on point, and I enjoy the fact that he's such a marketing and branding expert. From what he's able to do as his character is really, really cool. So I'm very excited to see what he brings to WWE, and I'm excited to see what they do with him.
I am too. Like I said, just trust us, guys. That's the whole point of this entire episode. Just trust us.
For sure, for sure. Now moving on to the men's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. This is the main event of the pay-per-view, the PLE. It is the men's Elimination Chamber, and this one was really interesting. We had Logan Paul, who came out and I believe really had an MVP showing, eliminating 3 men from the competition. A pulverizer to Javon Evans eliminates him. A low blow eliminates LA Knight. And a stolen pin off a crossroads eliminates Trick Williams. Suddenly, a random man begins climbing the cage until he's taken out by security. A second masked man appears and takes out Logan Paul, and this masked man reveals himself to be none other than Seth Rollins, who exits through the crowd. Moments later, Drew McIntyre attacks Cody with the WWE Championship. McIntyre is dealt with thanks to an RKO into a crossroads when suddenly Orton hits an RKO out of nowhere on Cody, goes for the pin, and gets the win. That final stretch from Paul eliminating the three competitors to Rollins to McIntyre getting taken care of really was great stuff. I really enjoyed this men's Elimination Chamber. I gave it 3 3/4 flames out of 5. What about you?
I thought it was really good. I just feel like they missed on a few things, and I'm not entirely sure why. The biggest one, of all people, why did you not let Javon Evans stay in that match longer?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. That's the worst part. He jumped off the pod, so I was right. But that's it. That's it. That's all he did. He could have done so much more shit, and you make him the first one eliminated. So I was not happy about that one. I feel like that definitely, I think that kind of took away from the match for me a little bit. There were just some clunkiness here and there, like LA Knight going for the elbow drop off the rope. That was
and he botched
bad.
it, yeah.
Not great. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, the ending was entertaining, but it was also it kind of put me in the mind of like the ending of Becky and AJ. It was just like all over the place. It was just kind of maybe not so much a mess. Maybe the ending was a mess, but not the Rollins stuff was great. We knew it from a mile away it was going to be Rollins, so that was great. But then, it's just, I guess hindsight doesn't really help this ending too much because McIntyre sticks his nose where it doesn't belong, cost Cody the match. Cody still gets a match on SmackDown anyway. I don't know if we have a question about that. I feel like we might, so I don't want to get too much into it, but it's almost just like the point of all of that was to, Cody's no longer, that was his last shot. He's never going to have another chance at it again, blah, blah, blah. And yet he does. And there's a pretty decent chance he's going to beat McIntyre on SmackDown. So now it's going to possibly be Orton and Rhodes at WrestleMania. So it's just like, did we really have to overcomplicate this the way they did? It was just, it was just all over the place.
Yeah,
it was just all over the place. I can't.
Yeah, and I really can't really give my thoughts on it yet because I know we do have a question about this whole Cody Drew McIntyre situation with the title, so I don't want to give too much away. I just thought the actual construction of the final stretch, with Rollins going in there and revealing himself. Maybe what I would have done is taken away of that decoy that first entered. That was kind of pointless. Maybe you got rid of that and just went straight for the Rollins thing and have the Rollins thing do its thing. But that's about it. I thought the final stretch was good. I thought the way Randy Orton went about it, RKOing Cody Rhodes after they got rid of Drew McIntyre, was smart because he's in it for himself. He can't really, at this point of his career, if he wants to be world champion, he can't think of his friendships with people. He has to do what he has to do. So I thought that was really smart of how they constructed that and put that all together.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that one. It just sometimes less is more. I think that's just the best way to put it. The ending, sometimes less is more. We could have done without, again, it was like the Becky AJ thing. We could have done without a little bit of stuff, not all of it, but just like maybe just a little bit, and maybe I would have enjoyed this match a little bit more. I just feel like, unfortunately, the potential this match could have had was just, I mean, at least for me, shot out the gate when you got rid of Javon so early. Like, I just feel like if you could have kept him in, it would have jumped it a little bit for me in the ratings, but I gave it 3.5 flames on that one.
All right, I gave it 3 3/4 flames out of 5, so we're not too off. I honestly thought that this was a good PLE from WWE. I think it's one of the stronger ones. Unfortunately, it's still a little too early to tell how it's going to shape up for the year, but I thought this was one of their stronger PLE showings for sure.
Yeah, definitely a solid one to start the first half of the year, so can't really complain too much. Just a few missteps here and there, but nothing too terribly bad to complain about.
Right.
All right, so we got all of that done. So I suppose we should get into some questions, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we got some questions from our loyal listeners, and I can't wait to get into those.
All right, let's see. Who should we start with? Let's just start with Mike's because I feel like I can mess with Mom's questions a little more. All right, so Mike's first question obviously talks about the chamber a little bit. So Orton obviously wins the men's chamber, which again we were totally wrong on. We both picked Cody and didn't happen. So now we get to Drew versus Cody on SmackDown. Is this going to be a pivot to Cody and Orton at Mania? Honestly, I think so. I think that's what it's going to be because nobody wants to see. Well, I mean, to be fair, nobody wants to see Cody and Drew again, but we're getting it. But I feel like this was just a way of booking themselves out of a corner they created again. Because that was the big thing in the chamber. This is Cody's last shot at the title. This is his last shot at the title. Oh, and then Drew ruined it. Oh my God, how could he do it? Even though he's been doing this for weeks now. Like, I can't believe he would do such a thing. Okay, well, you get one more shot because all this was just pissed at McIntyre, which understandably, I could say that's a good punishment, I guess. But it's just like, yeah, it's just kind of reeking of Cody's gonna win, and then we get Cody and Orton at Mania, which I'm not gonna complain about that one. That should be a really good match.
Right.
But yeah, I just feel like, did we have to overcomplicate this the way we did? And clearly the answer is yes. But yeah, I think this is 1000% a pivot. Poor Drew's just gonna kind of get the short end of the stick once again. But I feel like that's just unfortunately been the MO of his career over the last few years. But that's just how it is sometimes.
Well, that's what I was wondering myself. Is it that they just don't trust Drew McIntyre as a champion, to take the company where it needs to go? Maybe, maybe they should have never taken the belt off of Cody in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you were trying to do a, test or something with McIntyre, why did you need to? You know what you have in the guy. He's not going to all of a sudden get really horrible or, oh my God, it's going to propel him to superstardom. You know what you have with him. You've had him for, God, how many years now at this point? Like, I don't know what the point of it was. I agree at this rate. I mean, I feel like they were just kind of noticing maybe people were starting to get, tired of Cody as champion. So they're like,
Right.
oh, I guess we have to, flip it somehow. And then you flipped it. And then it's like, oh, that wasn't a good idea. And it's just like, why do you even bother then? Like, you could have found other ways to do this, but... Yeah, I just feel like they kind of just made this into a problem that it didn't need to be, but they just decided to, I don't know. I don't really understand the whole, thought process of this, and even if they did explain it, I still probably wouldn't understand it, but, yeah, it's just, I feel like it's just setting up that Cody's gonna win on Friday, and poor Drew's gonna get shoved to the back again, and it's gonna be Cody and Orton, and, I don't know what they're gonna do with McIntyre after this, if this happens, but again, it's pretty obvious that I think it's going to happen.
We shall see. We shall see.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure, because the ending. That ending's still going to make my head hurt. So this is technically part 2 of the question. If they do pivot to Orton and Cody at Mania, gives some real significant credibility to the worst Mania build argument that is floating around. I mean, it doesn't really do it any favors, I can tell you that.
I still say we got some time, though. It's only a little under 7 weeks before we get to WrestleMania, so we got plenty of time to build this up. I think it's too early to call anything a flop or anything like that in terms of a build-up for a WrestleMania match.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the worst, but it's definitely not one of the better ones. I mean, it could be a lot worse, but it could be a lot worse, but it could also be a lot better, but it's also just like, guys, what are you doing? I feel like they're kind of just, maybe not so much panicking behind the scenes, but I feel like, actually, you know what, maybe they are, because I wonder if the whole ticket sales thing is, making them a little, paranoid about stuff, and they're like, oh, well, maybe if we, change this, maybe this will sell the tickets, and maybe if we, make this match instead, oh, this will sell more tickets for sure, and it's just like, no, guys, maybe if you actually made the tickets more affordable, as we've talked about 5,000 times on this show, maybe we wouldn't have that issue, but I don't know. Again, it's... At the end of the day, though, it's a problem or problems of their own creation, and they really have no one to thank but themselves at this point, but... I don't know, maybe don't make the tickets $5,000 to sit the second highest row in the stadium. But that's just us talking nonsense into microphones. But I don't know. I just feel like they're just overcomplicating it for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't
But
know either, but it's gonna be interesting to see. I just think like it's too early to tell. I think we still got plenty of time before we get to what we need to do with the WrestleMania. The only thing is that I'm confused and I feel bad for Drew McIntyre. That's the only
yeah,
thing that's really on my mind that's negative, is that poor Drew McIntyre is probably thinking, what the hell did I do wrong that they won't let me carry this title? And it's not really necessarily anything that you did wrong. It's just the audience is fickle. You know, they just
yeah.
the audience, they can't sit still. So you just gotta chalk it up to, hey, I'm just doing the best I can, trying to do my job, and whatever happens happens.
Yeah, well, I also think unfortunately he keeps somehow being a victim of convenience, sadly, where it's just like, yeah, you're a good option, but oh, this better option just opened up and you just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, my dude. Sorry about that. And it just kind of goes downhill. I think the biggest example I can always point to was during the Black and Gold era of NXT. When Aleister Black was NXT champion, his title reign was never as prominent as it should have been because they were running Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa's feud at the same time. So it was
Hmm.
kind of like, well, fuck him apparently, but unfortunately, it's just you kind of, at least in creative's mind, strike when the iron's hot, and for whatever reason, this is the hill they're dying on. And once again, Drew just kind of has to be like the victim of war, but or just a casualty. But I feel bad for him. I agree. I just feel bad for him at this point because it's just like, what more does this guy have to do?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's it's WrestleMania season, guys.
Huh.
That's just how it is. All right, so obviously Seth finally showed himself at the chamber, but on SmackDown it was one of Seth's students. Do we think Seth starts a stable with his students, or was that a one-off? I feel like it's probably just a one-off. I think that's like a. I feel like that was just kind of like an easy, convenient thing to do. Of like, oh hey, these are like his students. It'd be kind of cool because no one would know who the hell they are. So I think it was just kind of like a easy thing to do. So I don't think they're going to be a stable of them. I think it was just kind of a, yeah, you're here and nobody knows who you are, so you'd be perfect for this. So
Yeah. I think that's all it was just a one off. I think um if it was a stable or anything, they'd probably go with someone from NXT.
yeah,
They would probably want to call up and to do something like that if they wanted to make them more prominent on the show. But I think this was just a one off to set up the angle of Seth Rollins being the ultimate masked man.
yeah, I would agree on that one for sure. All right, quick question: will the girl Housens be part of Danhausen's presentation going forward? Um, I would use them for like big pay-per-view entrances for sure, but I feel like the more you use them, the more that like the shine would go away, I suppose.
Right.
Which I thought was funny because his wife, and it's funny because I've met, obviously Danhausen and his wife at one of the conventions years ago, and so I immediately clocked the fact that she was like one of the ones right up in the front, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Lulu. I know
Uh-huh.
exactly who that is. That was easy, and it ended up being her, so I thought that was kind of cool. But
Nice.
yeah, I would just save it for like special occasions. You don't want to like have too much of a good thing because then it's not so good anymore. So I would just keep it for big like entrances only.
Yeah, so would I. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I have those. I have those occasionally. It happens every once in a while, but so now we have to go to now we have to talk about something that's going to break my little heart. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. So they finally pulled the trigger on breaking up Zarya and Sol Ruka. Hated it. Didn't like
Mhm.
it. Is Sol debuting on the main roster right after or the night after Mania, or does she stay down in NXT a little bit longer? Um, I feel like I would think the timeline would just make sense to like have her and Zarya have this feud up until around Mania or at Mania and then just like have it end then and then have Soul come up, because at this point, what else can Soul do, really? I mean, she can win the women's title, but does she really need it at this point?
Right.
I don't know. I don't think so. So I
Yeah.
feel like give it to someone like Zarya, because I feel like it's always funny to me because you always have those people that are like, oh, Zarya did nothing wrong. She was totally justified, which is like, yeah, kind of in a way she is. I must say, because I feel like, yeah, she really was kind of on the back burner of them as a team for the most part because she didn't get as many opportunities, if any, like Soul did. So I can imagine Zarya being upset about that. So I don't blame her on that one. I mean, you just way you go about it, it's not really great, but
That's
it
my
is what
thing.
it
It's
is.
just like if you're so unhappy about everything, why not just leave? You know? Just leave.
Yeah,
Why do you have to hurt Solruka on the process? Just
I
exit.
know.
You know, that's the thing that got to me. But I think this would be a perfect time for them to have that one match at Stand and Deliver, and then have Solruka come up to the main roster, because once she comes out to the main roster, she's gonna be a star. She's
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
a star. She brings something different to the table. She brings something that makes people go, "Wow, look at that!" So definitely, when she comes through, she's gonna be a big deal. I can't wait to see Solruka on the main roster, and I think it's gonna happen probably around the end of WrestleMania season.
I agree. And I hope they actually give Zarya time to shine too in NXT, because I feel
Sure.
like now there's no excuse. The shackles are off. Soul's not going to be around. No one's going to be like overshadowing you. So let them see why you were signed in the first place. And I feel like if they give her the proper opportunities and time, she can do it. I think she's really good. So yeah, give her the time. Why not? Bless you.
Thank you.
No
Yeah.
problem. So yeah, I say give Zarya, I mean, maybe the Rocket. I say give her the Rocket because I think she's more than earned it at this point, but we'll see. It just that whole thing just hurt my little gay heart. I hated it. I hated it so much. So thanks, Mike. Thanks for bringing that one up. Really appreciate it. So we go from one depressing thing to another. Did we see the studio shot of Ring of Honor? And based on that image, is it time to RIP Ring of Honor?
Eesh.
I didn't see it, but I would just assume by context it was not great.
Yeah, I saw it, and it just kind of looked like, wow, like not a lot of people, just kind of, it looked like they were in like a small little room,
Oh,
basically. Yeah,
yikes.
I don't know if you could pull it up, but it just
Yeah, let me see if I
it
can
it just it
find it.
just wasn't fun to look at. It was like, wow, we've really fallen off with ROH, and there's nothing really we can do to bring it back, basically.
Sad because I feel like I'm still trying to find it. It's sad because I think when like Tony bought it, everyone was like, "Oh, thank God he's gonna save Ring of Honor. This is gonna be great." And now it's just like, oh, I guess it still exists. Yeah, that's cool. And it's just like that's sad. That's just kind of sad that it's like so just it's such an afterthought now. Like, and it's literally been 4 years yesterday that Tony purchased Ring of Honor, and has it really improved it? I don't really think so, which is sad. It's just I don't know. I don't know why they just pretty much just use it as like it pretty much turned into like a glorified like I don't know, like AEW Dark or AEW like what was the other one they used to have?
Elevation or so, was it?
Elevated. Yeah,
Was it
I think
Elevation?
so. Elevation. It was definitely dark, and then yeah, I think it might have been Elevation. It's been so long, it's fine. But yeah, that pretty much it proves my point that it's just like that's pretty much what they've turned Ring of Honor into, and that's not good
Yeah,
at all.
I sent you the picture of the one
Yep.
studio, that thing I could pull up,
Let's see here.
and that's what
Oh.
everybody's
Oh
basically looking at.
yikes. That's ugh. Yeah, that's not good at all. Good God. That's like that's even smaller than the performance center, and that's saying something. That is not
Yeah.
yeah. Yeesh. Yeah, no, that yeah, maybe it's time to like I don't know, maybe not kill Ring of Honor because we don't want to have that discourse running around, but it's like they got to do something different because you're pretty much just treating it as just like an afterthought at this point, which is sad because Ring of Honor used to be great, and now it's just this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So do do we want Anthony Bowens in the ops, or did AEW just get tired of trying to restart the Acclaimed? Yeah, I feel like they probably gave up on that because no one cared, because really didn't. It was just like, why we don't really want this. This is not something we need. But yeah, when I saw that promo, I'm just like, Bowens in the ops is not. That just doesn't really compute with me. Like that
Yeah.
just doesn't like. No. And Hook's right. He's just like, yeah, we're a group of killers. Bless you.
Thank you.
He's like, we're just a group of killers, and I don't. Anthony Bowens doesn't come across as a killer to me, so yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe this is like a heel turn for him, possibly, but even then, it's just like, I don't know if that's gonna be very believable or not. But I don't know. Maybe it's something for him to do, I guess. But even then, it's just like, why?
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Not at all.
I don't
Not
buy
at
it.
all. It's just not. I don't know what the point of it is. I don't know what the play is here, but not looking good. Not looking good for
Yeah.
me at all.
I don't buy it. I don't find him as like a hard nose as any other member of the ops is. He just kind of just is there. I don't
Yeah,
think he's got a
literally, yeah.
hard bone in his body to be like, I'm ops, like those guys are stone cold killers. He doesn't
Yeah.
strike me as a stone cold killer.
Not no, not even close. No. Like, nah. It's no. It's just no. That's our vote of confidence is just no.
No.
No thank you. We're good. We'll stick with something else.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm gonna use my executive powers here. We're gonna switch some of his questions around because this is, I feel like, the question we're gonna definitely want to talk about. But we're gonna start with the silliest question out of the three. Jake Hager joining a slap league. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is news,
Slim
apparently.
pickings out there, huh?
Yeah, desperate for money, I guess. I saw that and I'm just like, yeah, that's sad. And then I just moved on. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, who gives a fuck? It's just like, okay, like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, Jake. So you know what? Have fun slapping people for sport, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just like, why not, right? Like, he's got nothing better to do, clearly.
Yeah, that
All
stuff
right.
is that just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you stand there and willingly get slapped across the face? Like, I don't get it.
I mean, the action of doing it to somebody is enticing, but having it done to you in returns, like, that's kind of where you
Yeah.
lose me on that one. Like, sometimes it would be nice just to slap the shit out of somebody and get away with it and not have to eat it in return. But I mean, people find that entertaining, I guess. I mean, more power to them, apparently.
I
Sure.
guess.
So from that type of news, if we want to call it that, is some rather wild news. Would we kick Darby out of our Uber if he was doing an interview on speakerphone?
That was so weird. I saw the headline and
Yeah.
I was just like, what? What
Yeah, it
is
was such a
going
wild
on?
thing to read. Like, Darby Allin kicked out of Uber over interview, and I'm like, only Darby. Only Darby would have like something like that happen to him, but I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a tough line to cross there because I feel like if you're in public, that is definitely not good social practices is to have a full-on conversation over speakerphone. I have I have unfortunately witnessed that when I was at my like apartment's gym. Like I don't need to hear your phone conversation even if I have my music on. So I'm like that's kind of, hey, you're being an asshole about it. So I can see why the Uber driver was probably offended, but if he didn't express to Darby at all, or there was no like rules, because I guess some Ubers have like their own set of rules or something. I don't know. That if you didn't expressly say or explicitly say, yeah, there's no speakerphone, like phone calls allowed in my Uber, you can't really get mad at him. But then also at the same time, the Uber driver has the right to kick you out for whatever reason. They could literally walk in and you could literally get in and be like, I don't like your hat, get out. And unfortunately, you can't really do anything about it, but maybe Darby could take it up with Uber. I'm not sure. Maybe Uber will take his side, but
I don't know.
such a wild news.
It's bad press for Uber, I tell you that.
Yeah, because it's like, guys, come on. Like, you know who he is. I mean, but then again, maybe the Uber driver didn't know who he was. And if that's the case, then you're just some asshole in my car on speaker. But even then, just be nice about it, maybe. I don't know.
I'm sure like Darby could have just been like, "Hey, I'm doing an interview on a radio show, blah blah blah." But I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe the discretion would have helped. Maybe if he would have like warned him ahead of time instead of it just happening, maybe that would have helped things a little bit because then the guy would have felt like he was, I don't know, caught off guard maybe, but
Just
such a
weird.
weird story.
Yeah, weird.
What is it with the weird stories, man? Like slap leagues, getting kicked out of Ubers for interviews. Like it was a very weird week of,
Very
of
weird.
news. And speaking of weird news, this is Mike's last question. I knew we had to stop with this one before we get to moms. And speaking of weird news, we had some drama on the timeline on Twitter, specifically with the SmackDown Women's Division. The girls are fighting, and it is wild. So, obviously, did we see the back and forth between Rhea Ripley and Jade? Yes, of course we did. We
Yep.
did. So then Chelsea gets in there because she pays Rhea a genuine compliment, which that was totally fine. Like I saw what Chelsea said, and it was very nice and it was very true. It's just like Rhea's a genuine person and deserves the success she gets, which I'm like, not many people are going to argue that. Then Jade has to come in and put her 2 cents in for whatever reason, and then Piper jumps in and eviscerates Jade on Twitter, and then they're going back and forth, and then Rhea, like, the fact that I read 3 different articles or 3 different things on Twitter and no one could seem to really understand if it was like the real deal or if it was just like planned. I think they said initially the Twitter beef was supposed to be planned, but then Jade took it too far and Rhea got pissed, understandably, because Jade pretty much accused Rhea of, oh, you just run to creative and, politicking with the creative team. And it's just like, yeah, that didn't need to be thrown in there because how are you going to explain that on a promo on TV, or how are you going to have to try and explain that in the actual feud? But yeah, it is. If that wasn't crazy enough, then the sources start saying that Jade has somewhat been a bit of a problem in the locker room for a while, and that she rubs people the wrong way, and that people are willing to, get her like over and put her over, but they don't feel like the respect's like reciprocated, and she's just kind of like insecure. And when, as we know, when people are insecure, they are assholes about it 9 times out of 10. So it's just like all of this over the span of like 3 days is wild.
Yeah, this is crazy. Who?
Yeah, it was a lot.
It
It's
is,
a
yeah,
lot.
it is a lot. It strikes me as one of those things like Jade comes off as such a fan, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yes.
one of those. She comes off as one of those types of fans, and
Yeah.
you don't want to be that. You're a professional. You work in the industry. You don't want to come off as one of those types of fans, you know? So
Yeah, because like if Chelsea's paying the compliment, did you really have to go and say something? Because it's just like, like you said, it comes across as that like shit fan where it's just like, okay, someone's just trying to be nice and you have to put your 2 cents in and be an asshole about it because you just want the attention on you. And it just turned into this big ass thing. And then Rhea puts that thing on her Instagram story where she's not having fun and just very cryptic, but pretty much told you all you needed to know. And then she deletes it. And it's just like, happy WrestleMania season, guys. It just wouldn't be a WrestleMania without something going wrong at some point. But
last year it
yeah,
was Tiffany and Charlotte. This year it's Jade and Rhea.
it's always got to be something. And what I thought was interesting was that they kind of that whole source, because I think it was PW Insider, I think was the one that said about Jade being an issue in the locker room and how it was speculated, but it was pretty much confirmed without really being confirmed that that period of time that Jade was gone and she was just spending time at the performance center, and we were all just like, is she hurt? Is she just like whatever? And we had kind of had our like inklings that it was because she was a problem and then kind of needed to get away, and they pretty much said that that was the case, that she wasn't actually hurt, she just had like problems with the people in the locker room at the time and they just wanted to try and smooth things over, and clearly she hasn't learned her lesson because that shit happened. And it's just like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on?
Man.
It's a mess. It's just a mess. Like, my head hurts already, and we're just talking about it. Imagine being in the middle of it.
Imagine being like Triple H having to supervise all of it.
Oh God, and he's just like, he's just sitting there like pulling his non-existent hair out. Like, I don't know. It's a whole bunch of mess, and it's just like, it's gonna be very interesting to see how they like, spin this one around to be like, oh yeah, no guys, we planned it. We totally, planned it, and yeah, even though you really, the problem is that is it really that hard? Is it really that hard if you're Jade Cargill, apparently, again, we always say apparently, to literally just not read from the script, but just stay on the line. Just stay on point. If you're gonna be an asshole within the confines of this isn't real, this is just the whole feud thing. And then you just had to go and just push it over the edge for what? For what reason? Like, really, what was the reason that we had to pull in the whole creative comment? And then it's just like, now we really have a problem because you couldn't keep your mouth shut.
Like I said, it just screams to me a whole, like, Jade acting like one of those shitty fans who tries to push a narrative on wrestlers that doesn't exist. And rather than acting like a fan, she should be acting like a professional. She's in the industry. She's not one of these kids on Twitter, these Twitter stands that try to, push a certain narrative to ruin a person's livelihood or anything like that. So no need to go ahead and act like that and perpetuate that. So that's the only
because
thing
people are gonna jump on it now because wrestling fans are fucking insane, and there is definitely a subsection of fans that hate Rhea Ripley, and this is just the gasoline they needed to just be more insufferable than they already are, because now they can just be like, oh, see, even the people she's wrestling don't like her, and see, she really is politicking because Jade said so. And it's just like, good job, Jade. Really, really good job there. Like, you clearly don't know what you're fucking doing when it comes to promos, but it's always something. It's always got to be something, I swear to God. All right, so that was all of Mike's questions. So, Mike, thank you as always. We appreciate it. And we got 3 more, and these are from Mom. So we're gonna scramble the order a little bit. So we're gonna start with the fact that she wishes the Brawling Birds was a better tag team name because they're both outstanding wrestlers and they deserve a little bit better. Yeah, the name's not really sticking with me, not gonna lie. I mean, I kind of get why it is what it is, but it's also just like, I think they could have spent a little more time in the workshop on that one. But Windsor and Hayter as a team's still great, though, regardless of the name. Like, I'm glad that they're a team. They work well together. They got great chemistry. Their styles definitely mesh, but the name. I can't get over the name.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the name. But I feel like the name is not going to overshadow the fact that they're great wrestlers. So I'm not too worried about it. I'd just rather just watch them wrestle and see what they can do in the ring.
Yeah, it's like, just call them Windsor and Hayter. That's it. Just use their names, but we gotta have the fancy names because then we can put them on a merch and sell 10 shirts that we don't really need. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We still get good wrestling from them, so you know what? We can't complain too much. All right, so of course Mom felt bad for the reaction that Danhausen got at Elimination Chamber. Said he deserves better. Yeah, I feel like we talked about it earlier. I just don't think the way they did it did him any favors. I feel like they should have given him an opportunity to show what he's all about instead of just, here's dancers, here's his cape, He comes out of a coffin inside of a box. He gives Michael Cole a thing of teeth. He gets in the ring. He does his pose and he leaves. It's like they could have done it a little bit better than that, but
Yeah, I think
like I said,
that's
just win him over. Just let him win it people over because I feel like his character works what's gonna do it, not the impression, but not the best start.
I genuinely think that the only reason he was getting boos is because people actually thought he was actually going to do something. Like he was going to do something
Probably.
like, oh, maybe cut a promo or I don't know, get physical with somebody, and then all we got was that. So everybody, I genuinely think the boos were more like of what the hell, you know, like that's it,
Yeah.
you know.
Or maybe they wanted Chris Jericho, am I right?
No,
Like,
no, no, no,
like, no, I don't.
definitely not.
Yeah, because I mean the crowd didn't sound like too bad for him on Raw, so I feel like maybe it was just like you said, man, just kind of an isolated thing. But
Yeah, I feel like
yeah,
it's an isolated thing, and I feel like
it's Chicago. Like
yeah, and I
it's
feel like
Chicago.
and I feel like to understand, like to have a reaction to Danhausen, like is to know Danhausen, and that's only 25% of the wrestling audience. The other
Yeah,
75% of the wrestling audience just strictly watches WWE, so they don't know anything about this Danhausen stuff. So they're not going to
yeah.
react the same as the other 25%. That's going to be like, oh, that's cool, that's Danhausen. They're going to be like, what the hell is this? And it's going to have to be something that's going to grow on them. And I think
Yeah,
Danhausen is something that's going to have to just grow in people, and they'll like it.
I think so. It's just yeah, could have been a better start, but I think he can rebound. He's got this.
Yeah,
I'm not too worried. I mean, I shouldn't
I'm
be,
not.
but I'm not either. If it starts to like go downhill in a couple weeks or a couple months, then maybe that'll be a different story, but I don't think it will. I think he'll be fine. All right, so our final question for tonight is what is our, well, several questions. So, number one, final grade for the Chamber pay-per-view. Two, the most underwhelming match in your opinion. And three, do the results make us more invested in WrestleMania?
Mm.
Okay, so grade for me, I feel like overall was. I mean, I'm assuming we'll just still do the Flames because that's kind of our
Right,
thing.
or letter grade. I was gonna give it a letter grade.
Okay. Well, I was gonna give it a flame, so I mean,
All right, no, go ahead. What would be your ultimate flame rating?
I would say just overall from what we were tallying up, I would say 3 3/4 flames.
Okay,
A little bit above average, but not like, oh my god, this was great. We need to watch this again. It was just
yeah,
like, yeah, it was good. I mean, it wasn't terrible. If we had to give it, I mean, like letter grade, we'll say it was like a B minus, C plus, maybe, like kind of in around there, but or maybe
right.
just a B. I don't know, just like kind of average.
I was actually gonna give it a B minus.
Yeah, see,
A B
right on
minus because
target.
I thought the matches were good. They weren't blow your socks off, make you go crazy like this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. But I thought the
Yeah.
matches were pretty good, you know. And I think it's a product of having a lot of time to tell a story in the ring during these matches because they're not like 8 match cards. You know, they're 4 or 5 match cards, so they give a lot of time for the performers to do their thing.
Exactly. I completely agree. So I feel like most underwhelming match, oh, for me was absolutely the men's chamber because they had so much shit that they could have done, especially with Javon Evans, and they just flat out refused to do it, and it drives me nuts. So I would say underwhelming for me was definitely the men's chamber for sure, just for the amount of potential that they had, and they just didn't deliver with it, I think.
I would go with the men's chamber as well. I don't think it was a bad match. I think it is just the weakest one out of all 4 great matches. All 4 were great. It's just like if you had to rank that one, I would put that at the bottom of the list. That's it.
Yeah. And simply put, do the results make us more invested in WrestleMania? Kinda. I feel like,
Kinda.
but also not in. I feel like in some ways not in a good way though, because I feel like the whole mess with Cody and McIntyre and Orton is just a convoluted mess, and then the whole shit with Rhea and Jade and that shit is just like, oh boy, this is more of kind of like a what else can go wrong kind of interest, not so much like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this now. It's just kind
Well,
of like.
I
Uh,
mean, CM Punk telling Roman Reigns he can't wait to bury
that
him in next to his dead dad. You
God,
know.
I was like, Jesus Christ, like we're really going there again, aren't we? Like
We
that
went
was
there. So like think
whew.
this WrestleMania has the potential to be an all-timer in terms of bad blood, feuds, and
Yeah,
general
yeah.
hatred. You know, I think this WrestleMania has the chance to be an all-timer.
Oh, it's good. I'm hoping so because they definitely have a bit of an uphill battle to climb, and again, that is through no one's fault of but their own. But I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes, and it's going to be interesting. Let's just put it that way, because I feel like that's all I got. But we'll see what
We
happens.
still got
But
plenty of time, and that's the joyous part of it, is that we still got plenty of time. The card
yeah,
hasn't been even put together. We got 2 nights of WrestleMania this year in Vegas, and like we aren't even 25% in terms of the storyline build up or anything like that. So we got plenty of time. So I can't wait to
yeah,
see what they do.
yeah. We'll be watching, and now I can finally watch it. So we'll both be watching. So
Yep.
we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Alrighty, and that is everything. We did the stuff.
All right. We did the questions. Time to get the heck out of here. All right. See you. Bye.
Bye, click.
Nah, just joking, guys. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast today. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. If this is your first time listening to the Ringside Rundown podcast, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to listen. And hopefully you can get us some feedback and let us know what you think of the episode. Best place to do so is on social media. We're on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Ringside Rundown. So you can send us a DM letting us know what you think of the podcast, or if you need a special place to find the podcast, like let's say you use a certain platform to listen to podcasts and you want to find the Ringside Rundown podcast on there, just let us know in the DM what platform it is, and we will send you a link on the silver platter. But be careful, the silver platter belongs to Shay's mom, who is a deathmatch wrestling champion in
Yeah.
Japan. So
Yeah, so it is you don't want to mess with her, let's just put it that way.
she's known for exploding death matches.
Yeah, barbed wire and everything.
I tell you. So definitely want to give her the silver platter back. Remember, this podcast is available on places like Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, Good Pods. Wherever you listen to podcasts, it should be available by simply searching Ringside Rundown in the search engine and hitting the follow button or the subscribe button. Also, to let you guys know, we do live streaming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Ringside Rundown is where we do live streaming of AEW and WWE programming throughout the week. So please come join us and have some fun and chat. Shay, where can they get in touch with you?
You can find me on my wrestling Twitter at ShayRingside_. Just like Eric's, and I just copied the homework. Not gonna lie, I just copied it.
Yeah, I let her steal the nickname.
Yeah, see, I mean that's a good like co-host, right? Like we got to steal some things from each other every once in a while. So thank you for letting me borrow your name.
Well, guys, we'll be back next week with another episode full of your questions. So if you have any questions that you want to answer, ask us. Make sure you drop it in our Twitter account or in our Discord server. The link to our Discord server is in the description. So all you have to do is just click it, click the green check mark, and then you're into the Discord server where you can find the podcast questions tab and drop your questions there, and we will answer on the podcast. So for Shay Hickson, my name is Erik Vasquez. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and we'll catch you on the next episode. See ya.
See you later, guys.